Hi, I'm Dan Murphy, and I'm here with a preview of the annual town meeting for Dover for the year of 2019. It will be taking place Monday, May 6th at 7 p.m. in the Linquist Commons Auditorium right here on the school regional campus. So just come down, participate in town government, reach quorum, and hopefully this will take just one night. Looking over the warrant, I believe that will be the case, but here's a preview of the articles and what to expect at the town meeting. There are a total of 27 articles. Many of them are procedural, so hopefully we'll get through them relatively quickly, but I think there are about 4 citizens' petitions, which are usually the articles that get a little bit more discussion. So we'll start with Article 1, which is just to hear and act on the committee reports to open the meeting. Article 2 is to establish salaries for the elected officials for the town of Dover. Article 3 deals with authorizing revolving funds. There are a bunch of items. Most of these come up annually, but just to go over them, the building department has 3 items. They're seeking a $9,000 for a gas inspector, $17,500 related to a plumbing inspector, and $32,500 related to a wiring inspector. The Board of Health has $40,000 for perk and deep hole permitting and inspection, $50,000 for septic inspection and permitting, $20,000 for well inspection and permitting, and $10,000 for swimming pool inspection and permitting. Again, this tends to come up every year. The library has $5,000 in materials replacement. The Council on Aging, $35,000, senior activities and transportation, and $1,500 from the recycling committee regarding material sales proceeds. So that's all of Article 3. Again, this seems to come up every year, but there may be some discussion on this article, as there may be discussion on every article. Article 4 is to appropriate the fiscal year 2020 operating budget, and then Article 5 is to appropriate the fiscal year 2020 capital budget. There are a bunch of capital items under the capital budget. So the Cemetery Commission has a mower. The Fire and Ambulance has radio equipment and an ambulance, and there may be some discussion or some presentations regarding these items. There's some misnumbering in the warrant, it looks like, because both Fire and Ambulance and Building Maintenance both were numbered number 2. So hopefully that's not going to cause too many issues or any confusion. But for Building Maintenance, the Protective Agencies building has 3 items regarding roofing, de-leading the firing range, and air conditioning. Item 3, which is actually the 4th item, is the Highway Department has a pickup truck and a fuel dispensing system that would fall under this capital budget article. And then the number 4, which is 5th, Parks and Rec has a tractor and a dump truck as 2 items for them under Article 5. So moving on to Article 6, is to deal with appropriate funds for unemployment compensation fund. Article 7, appropriate for sick leave for retiring police officers. Article 8, appropriate for road construction, reconstruction, and improvement. Again, a lot of these come up every year. There are some slight differences year to year, and the specifics will likely be qualified as these articles come up at town meeting. Article 9, appropriate to conservation fund. Article 10 is to appropriate for information technology study and analysis. Article 11 is to create and appropriate for regional school OPEB. That's other post-employment benefits, stabilization fund. Article 12 is to create and appropriate for capital stabilization fund. Article 13, create and appropriate for land preservation stabilization fund. And Article 14 is to appropriate to the Dover Stabilization Fund. So I think, again, all of this is fairly standard procedural stuff, but there may be some discussion as to some of the specific numbers regarding these articles. Then I think what we left off at Article 14 was to appropriate the Dover Stabilization Fund. Article 15 and Article 16 both deal with the Carroll Community Center. That came up last year at the town meeting, dealing with the Carroll Community Center, and this is, I believe, just a continuation of that. Article 15 would be to reauthorize the Carroll Community Center design funds, and Article 16 would be to appropriate for Carroll Community Center extraordinary repairs, which were discussed, I believe, at length last year at last year's town meeting. Moving on, Article 17 is for appropriating free cash to fund the fiscal year 2020 operating budget. And Article 18 is to appropriate for the fiscal year 2020 reserve fund. Article 19 is to appropriate for unpaid bills of prior years. And then we move on to Article 20, which is to deal with the supplemental appropriations to Article 4 of last year's 2018 annual town meeting. So all this stuff is stuff that's kind of been discussed before at prior town meetings. Article 21 and 22 deal with accepting accepting Massachusetts general bylaw or general laws that have not been applied to Dover in the recent past. So Article 21 is to accept Massachusetts General Law 40, Chapter 40U regarding municipal fines, and 22 is to accept Massachusetts General Law Chapter 59, Section 57A regarding payment of tax bills less than $100. There may be just some discussion as to the benefits of doing this and why these articles are there. But this seems like something that most of the discussion has probably taken place already regarding these. And then we move on to, I believe, this is where we start with the citizens petitions. Starting with Article 23 is to accept various roads as public ways. Specifically Dover Farms Road, Hughes Lane, Ann's Way, and Monroe Court. Article 24, which is separate from which is held separate from those other four roads, is to accept Dancer Farm Drive as a public way. I believe that this is probably related to where these roads are situated, that was not lumped in with the other roads. And then we get to Article 25, which I think may be the most discussed article coming up at this town meeting, which is to amend Part 2 of the general bylaws in regards to a plastic bag ban at the various retailers in the town of Dover. There's been some advocacy from environmentally concerned citizens about instituting a ban, and then there's also been some resistance from businesses thinking that this may be too costly. So I believe there will be some healthy debate about this article at the town meeting, and hopefully everyone sticks around for it if this does take place as the 25th article on the ballot. I hope it drives people there and gets people participating, because it's always nice to see people participating in town government. And that brings us to the last two articles, which are Article 26, which is a transfer from free cash to stabilize the tax rate, and Article 27, which is a real procedural one about establishing the town elections, which I believe historically is not actually voted on at the town meeting, but it is part of the town warrant. So those are the 27 articles that you can expect to see at town meeting. I encourage everyone to come down, participate in town government. Let's reach a quorum and have a healthy discussion that hopefully gets us through in one night. And thanks so much for watching this preview, and I hope to see you at town meeting.